Hi, this is Pete, and in this video we're going to be going through how to get data from your sensors using Favor. In the previous video we showed you how to set values using LEDs, and the next step is we're going to be getting data. So I thought an easy way to do this would be to just get some data from a temperature sensor. And when I was looking at the sensors that I had, I didn't have anything that was a simple temperature sensor that just would return the temperature, which at first thought was going to be a problem, but I think this is actually going to be a good thing. We're going to do some live coding here. So let's just show you what we've got here. I built up this temperature file, which is just simply, where is it? Nano temperature. So here I get my configuration file. We'll take a look at what's in that in a second. And then I pass that configuration file into Favor. My callback is just going to log the response back to the console. And here I just say get temperature and call the callback. So let's take a quick look at that configuration file and what that does. So let's ignore these functions up here to start with. Down here you can see we have the components that I'm getting. The type is temperature. The name, that might seem a bit of a strange name, but I'll explain to you in a minute why I've done that. The address that goes to. And to get temperature from, or to get values from this sensor, I should say, we read from the address 0. We send the command 0 to that address, and then the response goes into a buffer, which is the length of 4. So all that can be found in the data sheet for this sensor that I have, this HIH6130. But let's just take a look at what that's going to do right now. So if I just say node temperature, that's going to run that temperature file. It's going to load up Favor, and it's going to give me the response, which is just a buffer at the moment. So let's get something better than a buffer out of this. So right now, let's add in, we're going to say format output, and that's going to change the format of the output, and I'm going to pass it this get temp function. Now, you can see get temp function is here. It takes it in the buffer. The first element of the buffer is where the data is held. And then again, from the data sheet, this explained to us how to get the temperature, which was the third byte in that buffer. We take the, what was it, shift. I believe that's shift the register 2, and then all this stuff. How is this? All this is in the data sheet right here. You can see how to get temperature. So you've got your temperature output count to the power 14 minus 1 times 165. So of course, each chip is going to have a different way of calculating and formatting your data, which is why this is kept in the config file, which lives on the device itself, and your logic happens outside of that in Favor. So let's just run this and see what we get now. If we go get the temperature is 21.42 degrees Celsius. I can run that again, and you'll see here is our temperature response. But of course, this chip is returning both the temperature and humidity, so it isn't really good to sort of ditch the humidity. Let's make it so that we can get both the temperature and humidity out of this device. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create what we call a link type of device. So I'm going to change this to be link, and I'm going to change this format output to be get humid temp. And if we look at the format up here, get humid temp, I've got this, so it shows that I've gotten into the right function. And what this is going to return is an object that has both the humidity and the temperature. And it just passes in those two functions, which are right here. We've already seen how we're getting the temperature. The humidity is very similar, taking different values from the buffer. So that's part one. Now, what we'll do down here as well is we're going to add another component, and this component is going to be type temperature. Oops, and make that be in quotes. And it is going to be a link, and that link is going to be the name of the linked the linked component. So that's this one right here. And I'm also going to tell it, give it a return as, and that's going to be temperature. So what that's going to do is that's going to get me, when I call favor, it's going to look at the temperature, it's going to get this temperature, it's going to find that this is a linked file, it's going to find which element this is linked to, it's going to get the data from this component, and then it's going to return the parameter that is in this in the object that gets returned from that component. As you can see here, I've got get temp. All right, so let's save that. And now when I say get temperature, I'm going to get my temperature back. You can see the get humid was where it found that it was running that function. Now, let's do this again, and now I can get the humidity as well. So let's add in here, really simple. I'm going to add another component, and this one is going to be called type is humidity. And you can call these components anything you like. Favor has no concept itself of what a temperature or humidity sensor is. It just knows when you query it to look for these elements. So we're going to start again. That actually doesn't have to be enclosed, but let's do this for consistency. Return as and humidity. And now I'll actually have to go into my nano temperature.js, and let's also here do $humidity dot get, and I'll pass the callback. And now let's run that function, and I should get back both the humidity and the temperature. There they are, and you can see that function got run twice. So I probably don't want to have that console in there, so let's get rid of that. And there you have it. So that's a fairly simple way of dealing with creating a consistent interface to devices that maybe are returning more than one value. These linked functions are going to be really useful for keeping a consistent interface because you may have one device that has a chip that only returns temperature. You've got one that returns temperature and humidity. I've seen this with accelerometers as well, where some of them include a magnometer and other compasses and other components. But if you only want to separate out each type of data that you're able to get so that you can have a consistent interface across multiple devices without changing your business logic. So thanks for your time. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can check us out on GitHub, Favor IT. Favor is also published on NPM under Favor, and all the documentation is in the wiki. So if you want to look at documentation for linked elements, that is in the special cases. And we're going to look at some other special cases in the near future. So hope you enjoyed Favor. Thank you very much for your time.